Moving on to, I know we haven't really talked about any kind of sexy positions, so let's get to that. Let's get to the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Bunch of new faces on offense. Where do you want to start? Because they're really trying to go for an identity shift on offense, which I think is, I like the script. I'm not sure if the characters have been casted correctly.
Yeah, let's start with the receivers, because I know I've said this to you probably a bunch of times, but it's like in a vacuum. If my team just added Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, you'd be like, might need a little bit more. But this team just won the Super Bowl by basically throwing to, 2 players by the end of the season? Yeah. maybe 3.
And with a shaky run game.
Yeah, with a very shaky, inconsistent, to put it nicely, not credible run game. But
Uncredible.
Uncredible. But here's the thing with the Chiefs that everyone knows by now. You got 15. When you got 15, you're just playing a different game. I mean, they won the Super Bowl with Kadarius Toney point shaving for half the year, right? Like, this is as much concerns as you could have about Worthy and Hollywood Brown. This is so much better than where they were a year ago. It's so much better. And I would say it's for this year, it'll probably be just about average. But they won the Super Bowl with bad. So they're on the sliding scale of the Chiefs. I'm excited because I love bombs away Mahomes. I think anyone who thinks this is going to be Tyreek Hill is sadly mistaken. Hill is like 200 pounds, built like an absolute tank. Worthy is close to 160 pounds, and he's small. So it's going to be a situation where they might have to get creative to get Xavier Worthy open. It's a small wide receiver duo between him and Hollywood Brown. You're combined like 300 pounds between the two of them, a little over 300 pounds. But they can fly. They can fly. And that should be enough for the Chiefs to start looking like the offense that people expect them to be, because they still were a good offense last year overall, but it didn't feel the same. And even Pat said the same thing. He was like, last year was not fun. I was like, really? Really? That's what not fun looks like? You had like a top 10 offense? Okay. All right. It's over.
It's probably because he was just like, again. And as he like runs out of the pocket and throws something across the field again. He likes doing it though. Don't let him fool you. Yeah. But I thought that's a great point. And something I got to come back to always is I've always been a big believer that it doesn't have to go from like crap to like great. It just has to go from like crap to not crap. It has to go from below average to average, and that's an improvement, or below average to above average, and that's 2 tiers improvement. And that's a great point about these receivers. Is Hollywood Brown is like a high end 3, maybe even a low end 2 at best. I think in a good receiving room, you can make that work. Rice can be your kind of quasi 2, and actually, it looks like he's playing week 1. Looks like the suspension stuff keeps getting pushed back, so he's available. He's your Z. Brown could take the top off. You can work Worthy in on some of the stuff that he does well, which is, not getting hit, but also running. But it's, again, like you said, it's better than MVS, even if it's a different identity. I think they said, okay, that identity's over. Let's turn a new page. We try to do some bully ball stuff, Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS. I liked it. Now I think it's going to be a mix of speed, and then some 13 personnel stuff, with Jared Wiley, who's another new face I'm excited about. Kind of weaponize the 3 tight end look, maybe get a really fast receiver out there, dare defenses to go big and kind of make them pick their poison. So yeah, I even if I didn't I'm like, okay, I'm not totally fired up about Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy. It's like in this ecosystem with Patrick Mahomes and what they're trying to do. Okay. I like it a little bit better. Also, they do have a guy I got pretty fired up about in the draft process at left tackle, Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU.
Ooh, look at you.
I know. I practiced it a lot. I still can't get Tua's last name right, but I can get Kingsley Suamataia. But yeah, he was a 5-star recruit, Oregon guy, transfers to BYU. Just a bundle of tools. Like he's one of those guys. It's like not a lot of big guys can move like him. And I think the Chiefs thought the same way. But I thought he was going to be really raw, and I thought they're going to work him in. But they said, nope, starter, left tackle. Figure it out. And he actually looked okay. And he's got a good line coach. He's got Mahomes to help him out. He's got Joe Tooney next to him. He's got some pros. So I really like him. And I'm curious. It's a little earlier than I thought his trajectory would start, but let's go for it. I thought this was a great landing spot for him. But did you watch Kingsley at all during the draft process?
Oh yeah, during the draft process, I did. And I have the same exact eval. He's raw, but he's a freak athlete. Yeah, he's huge.
Dancing bear.
Yeah, right. And the thing is with the Chiefs, his competition was Wanya Morris. So
And
there really
Heck
was
hates
no
Wanya Morris. So
yeah.
there tells you all
There
you
was
need to
no
know.
choice. There was no choice but to start Kingsley, which I ultimately think will be a good thing for him.